More and more World Cup squads are being announced by the day, with the deadline for finalised 23-man rosters on June 4th. With such a limited number of spaces on the planes to Russia, some players more than deserving of a spot are learning that their World Cup dreams won't be coming true this cycle, but there have been some exclusions that are more controversial than others. Let's highlight some of the players who won't be going to represent their national teams this summer with the top 10 World Cup squad snubs. Number 10. Joe Hart. The long-time England number 1 has seen his stock dip dramatically over the past few years since being farmed out from Manchester City by Pep Guardiola when he arrived. First sent to Torino where he hardly impressed, and he then went back to England this season to find that he couldn't even hold down top spot between the sticks at relegation battling West Ham. But he's still England's most experienced goalie by a mile, so many were expecting he'd be included in the 3-man goalkeeping roster for the dressing room experience, if nothing else. No such luck though, as manager Gareth Southgate stuck true to his word about taking a team based on merit. Number 9. Alvaro Morata. Leaving Real Madrid to find game time at Chelsea this season didn't go anywhere near as well as Alvaro Morata would have hoped. He struggled to impress Antonio Conte and was more profligate in front of goal than deadly, and failed to replace Diego Costa as he was brought in to do. His first season has gone so poorly he's even being linked with an exit from the club and wasn't included in Spain's final 23-man squad for Russia. His 6 goals from compatriot and clubmate Cesar Azpilicueta assists could have been a useful link to have in La Furia Roja's arsenal, but manager Julian Lopetegui opted to take an 8th defender instead of a 4th striker. Number 8. Ruben Neves. Defensive midfielder Ruben Neves has been the overqualified heart of Wolverhampton Wanderers' crusade to the Premier League this season after arriving from Porto, and even after swapping one of the most prestigious clubs in his home country for a second division English one, was included in Portugal's preliminary 35-man squad. He's played 5 times for the national first team after coming through the youth team ranks, but wasn't included in the 23-man squad Portugal will appear with to assist Ronaldo this summer. He's one of the hottest properties in England right now, sure to grow next season on the larger Premier League stage, but he'll have to wait just a little longer for his time to shine internationally. Number 7. Alex Sandro. He was hampered by muscular injuries this year, but Alex Sandro was always going to have a tough battle on his hands to break into a Brazil team that's man for man one of the most talented in the world, especially when he has to battle Marcelo and Felipe Luis for his position. Brazil's manager Tite also prefers to pick players who fit into his premeditated tactical system rather than strictly on form or potential too, offering another explanation as to why Alex Sandro didn't get picked. But there's no shame being left out of a side that also saw Fabinho, David Luiz, Oscar, Lucas Moura, Malcolm, Anderson Talisca, Rafinha and Arthur excluded. Number 6. Nelson Semedo. Despite patchy form and a late-season injury, Nelson Semedo still impressed enough in his first season at Barcelona to convince some that he should be the team's first-choice right-back. At 24 years old, he's still got a long career of growth ahead of him, but to not even get selected to go to the 2018 World Cup as part of the Portugal squad must sting a little. His competition for the national team's right-back berth is Cedric Soares, who was a mainstay of the 2016 winning Euro team but has been battling relegation with Southampton all season, and Ricardo Pereira, who just moved from Porto to Leicester. Maybe Ronaldo is just reluctant to share the pitch with any Barca players, as neither Semedo nor Andre Gomez are going. Number 5. Jack Wilshere. When he's fully fit, Jack Wilshere is arguably England's most talented central midfielder. He's a box-to-box player who can drive the ball through midfield, and after several seasons under Arsene Wenger knows a thing or two about intricate football, something England are routinely outclassed by on an international stage. But once again, it's questions of his fitness that have held him back, both in terms of consistently hampering his playing time and making him a liability in a small tournament squad. He was able to play through the packed domestic festive period this season with no issues though, and saw Arsenal to the semi-finals of the Europa League, so he'll be gutted to miss out on a 3-lion spot. Number 4. Mario Götze. Mario Götze may not have had his best season since returning to a chaotic Borussia Dortmund and struggling to find top form, but it speaks to the insane talent of the German squad that they can afford to leave a bright young player who scored the winning goal at the tournament the last time around at home. He even played the most minutes of any German forward in qualifying for the tournament, in which they were unbeaten and scored 43 goals. but due to injury and his unsuccessful spell at Bayern, he hasn't yet developed into the irreplaceable Messi-esque figure many foretold, so he'll have to wait for another chance. Number 3. Alexandre Lacazette. Sure, France have one of the world's best strikers in Antoine Griezmann to lead the line, but he typically plays well with a partner, so there are plenty of needs for additional strikers in the squad. Olivier Giroud has historically been the preferred option by coach Didier Deschamps, and the new Chelsea forward has impressed since switching teams in the English capital, but Lacazette's first season at Arsenal has hardly been underwhelming. He scored 14 goals and added 4 assists, more than Giroud managed, and came into great form playing alongside Aubameyang, who arrived at the Emirates in the winter transfer window. France have a top striker in Giroud, but it could have been a breakout tournament for Lacazette. Number 2. Radja Nainggolan. It isn't a massive surprise that Belgium's bad boy Radja Nainggolan wasn't named in the squad for the World Cup, given coach Roberto Martinez's previous comments making his preference for other players known. But the confusion comes from some of his other comments, suggesting he'd be picking on form players from top clubs. Axel Witsel made the squad while playing in China, but Roma's midfield machine that helped them best Barcelona and reach the Champions League semis wasn't chosen? With his midfield completeness and ability to score goals, it's hard to make a case that he wouldn't have been a valuable asset to the Belgian side. Number 1. Mauro Icardi. Argentina have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to attacking options in their squad. In addition to Lionel Messi, they have Paulo Dybala, Angel Di Maria, Maximiliano Meza, Christian Pavon, Gonzalo Higuain and Sergio Aguero at their disposal. But the latter two have had far from their best year this year, so the decision to take them over Mauro Icardi is the most baffling exclusion of the tournament, considering the Inter Milan striker tied for top scorer in Serie A this year with 29 goals. It's unlikely Argentina will miss him given the goal-scoring talent they'll already have, but if they struggle, it'll be impossible to justify leaving him at home. Who are you most disappointed not to be seeing at the World Cup? Let us know in the comments below along with what other videos you want to see, and give this one a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any as we gear up for the World Cup, and thank you so much for watching. I'm Lloyd Mallison, and I'll see you next time.